know, underdogs turning to legends. I came from nothing, I had to work with it. I ain't have a whole lot, I had to work with it. I invest everything, come from the dirt with it. To be honest, I don't even know what I'm worth, niggas. And I get high to balance my lows. Got problems I ain't had before.
Welcome to High Style Sunday. Y'all know what's going on. We down here in Canamo. You know we down in Baltimore. Got a little boat on deck. You know we got that good stuff too. Man, my guys right here invited me in the store. My man Shane, my man Austin. What's going on?
What's good, man?
What's going on? What's going on? How we doing?
I'm good, I'm good.
Appreciate you coming down, man.
Of course. Now for everybody that doesn't really, know what you're about, what you do, one at a time, explain and let them know.
Yeah, so Canamo, we started this in 2020, right at the beginning of COVID. We started out in Canton and had a little office on the second floor of the square. And, just during the lockdown, we really just kind of owned in, dialed in what we wanted to offer to Baltimore in terms of, medical cannabis education, medical cannabis, certificates, and hemp products. Because, knowing that, THC, we definitely try to push that as a symptomatic relief. CBD is where a lot of the good medicine in being preventative medicine, because we can take a whole lot more CBD and not have a psychoactive response like we do THC.
All right, man. So it's all about the medicine, man. Just to be honest with you, never want to get it lost in, translation. What we do, obviously, we love to get high, but at the same time, we, want the education behind it. And that's what we push the most,
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely try to get our patients dialed in on what cannabis chemicals are specific to their relief. So instead of just, Joe Blow going on the street asking for indica or sativa, we take a more detailed approach in teaching our patients about the various terpenes, cannabinoids, dosing mechanisms, and so forth. We even provide, what do we call it, dosing procedures where, it's always you start low and go high to find out what your minimum dose for maximum relief is. Because what's happening, if we use too much THC over time, it reduces our cannabinoid receptors within our endocannabinoid receptor system, which was discovered in 1990 by a scientist called Raphael McCullum. And so what he found is that our body produces cannabinoids, and we call those endocannabinoids, that regulate the release of various neurotransmitters just to keep us at equilibrium and homeostasis.
Okay.
Yeah. We could nerd out all day. You know what I'm saying? So go to our website, Canamo, CANAMOH.com, and check out the higher education tab, and it just starts at the ECS and then takes you through the cannabinoids and terpenes, so you can get a little bit of a better understanding of what education we're pushing. But the more detailed stuff come at a cost, though.
Okay. Now that's good information. That's real good information. Y'all hear it. Y'all know where it comes. So I want to take it back. One at a time. You can explain what got you started in this business.
Damn, there's a lot of things. From a brother that had cerebral palsy, and he passed away due to seizure medications right before Charlotte's Web was created. And I was a botany, biology major in college, and so I was already interested in the ethnobotany of things. And so, kind of when his passing happened, I kind of just dove into the medical realm of cannabis and all the, mostly at that time it was anti-convulsant, anti-seizure properties. And then, I guess this not Vlad, I'm not about to tell him myself, but been a huge purveyor of distributing, cannabis, sharing with friends and everything like that. Sharing is caring. You feel me? So, always been about weed. Used it as more so as a party thing in the early days, and then, all the stuff with my brother and just kind of seeing where, the health system is at, where they're not selling the cure. So what we're trying to do is or educate on a more holistic approach of preventative medicine. Yeah.
What about you?
So for me, man, to be honest with you, I was one of those dudes, I just grew up a certain way. And, the moment something get off track, you start to lose yourself. So me just smoking started to get me, calm me down a lot, take your mind off of certain things. And then once my man started telling me about what he was doing, I got more into like the education behind it and the medicine behind it. And also I got my grandmother, she had breast cancer. And, once you, like he said, like they not selling the cure, so you try to find any way you can. And I just feel like, man, the plant is one of the strongest things on this planet, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. So that's just what it is for me, It's just a connection, like a real thing,
Yeah, cannabis really is one of the only plants that interact with the millions of receptors in our bodies. A lot of pharmaceutical drugs are either receptor inhibitors, or they turn on other receptors. And so with that being said, it's going to help with one thing, but turn off a receptor that could cause another issue. So that's why a lot of pharmaceuticals at the end of the commercials be like, "Oh, you could experience this will help with your depression, but you could get cancer, like you could get And so cannabis, I mean, nobody's died off of cannabis. There's been no overdose deaths of cannabis. Cannabinoid receptors, the only place that cannabinoid receptors aren't located in is in our brainstem. So we can never oversaturate our brainstem, which turns off regulates our heart rate and breathing. So unlike opioids, where opioids, if you overdose, that oversaturates your brainstem and stops your heart rate, stops your breathing. So cannabis could never do that. There's been plenty of just research facilities and groups that say cannabis doesn't increase neck, lung, or mouth cancer, amongst many other things. So, it's truly a gift from, the man above or the woman above or the person above, whatever you believe in. It was literally put on this plant for our well-being and health, so.
Should be taught in school, man.
It should be taught in school. And the crazy thing is like the craziest thing is that this plant was prohibited because of at that time only one of the cannabinoids creating a psychoactive response. There's 200 cannabinoids in this plant that we only know 10, so there's just so many, through prohibition throughout the whole world, we've lost out on a lot of genetics. That's why a lot of the tree, gives us very similar feelings. You can have sativa, you can have indicas, but once we get more into like THCV, that's a variant that increases stimulation and increases energy rather than THC's regular like stony relaxing feeling.
Terps.
So there's so much more there's so much more to learn because prohibition is being lifted worldwide, and it's just crazy that it was, prohibited, deemed, a monstrous drug, a Schedule 1. That shit is a Schedule 1 still, federally, and it's helped every person that I've known that's had cancer. It's either ease their pain and allow them to enjoy the time with their family members before they pass, or it took the cancer away. Right. So from an observational standpoint, I'm not saying it. We do have research that there's great synergy with cannabis and immunoradiation and chemotherapies. So that's another thing. So.
Okay. Now I want to ask you, you have this beautiful, amazing store here in Baltimore, Federal Hill. Down here in Baltimore, Maryland. So why here? Why this location?
Man, I mean, we got ties, man. The Federal Hill. I'm not gonna stunt. Our homie, he lives in Hawaii now, but he used to live like a little down the street, across the street from us. So we used to be down here a lot, And then just some other stuff happened, but Yeah, man.
Yeah, we were just here. I mean, a lot of friends lived here, and we lived here, and they all left, so we're the last ones.
Yeah.
But for Baltimore, um, this is kind of like the biggest city that I'd live in because the neighborhoods, I'm more of a, I like my space, and even though it kind of feels cramped in here, it's not a big city. It's a neighborhood city, so there's different vibes you can check out. It's very eclectic and all that, and that's why I like Baltimore. But with Federal Hill, I saw a need, for a medical cannabis doctor in this area. There's one in Fells Point. Shout out to them. I felt a need, and just the diversity that comes through here, mainly on the weekends, is a pretty good spot to have a business, because everybody likes different things, and it's a big drinking neighborhood. So adding cannabis, we can kind of, if people need to chill out from the alcohol,
balance it out.
they could come, heal up with us, sparking trees and cannabis to CBD like that. So.
All right. Now, with Baltimore, passing the new laws and everything, a lot of people think it's this. A lot of people don't really understand. A lot of people actually read.
Right.
So for those that don't read,
Right.
can you explain, what's the, how legal is it going to be here, when, all that information for us?
I mean, he could give you the ins and outs of it. I'm gonna just tell you, you're not paying taxes with medical. Recreational, when that comes, you're gonna pay taxes. We live in Maryland, so never get it twisted. They're gonna tax.
Yeah.
It's supposed to start at 6%, and it's gonna get up to 10%. Medical is gonna be at 0. Goose egg, But it's supposed to start in July. And actually, they voted today, right? Today, yeah.
Yeah, they were supposed to vote. I'm surprised I hadn't seen anything come out.
Yeah.
But they were gonna. So basically, the bill. So regardless of this proposed bill that's being worked on right now, what we all voted on in Maryland in like November, that got approved. Basically, we can have 2 plants in the house. We can grow 2 plants in the house, and it's not like DC where it was like 6 plants per person. It's just 2 plants per house. I would like to see that increase, but that's a starting point.
Right.
Non-violent cannabis convictions get expunged, and I believe people who are in jail right now or prison for non-violent cannabis crimes will be released. So that's a win. We got to get our brothers and sisters out of there, because we were the ones, that they were getting up. You know what I mean? So, and then what was the other one? Oh, we can have up to 1.5 ounces of whatever bud, whether it's something from Cali, whether it's something from DC. If you're just walking around with 1.5 ounces, they can't do nothing to you if you get searched. But if you have, I believe it's like if you have over 2 or 2.5 ounces, you start to get citations. It's not going to be you're not going to get arrested, but it might be a hefty fine if you got pounds. You call your lawyer. You feel me? Like,
should be because that's anyway.
That's still intent. And what a lot of people don't realize is that the legality of things, making cannabis legal, creates new laws to break. You feel me? So so there's going to be a whole new line of things that we can't do with cannabis where we can still get in trouble. So it's it's not the best thing, but it's something, right? And then so getting back to the proposed bill now, like trying to create the framework for dispensary for recreational industry. Basically, what happens? I think the bill had 75 grow license available, 100 processing licenses available, 300 dispensary license available, 15 lounge licenses available, and there's going to be micro grows allowed. The micro grows, it was proposed to be under 10,000 square feet, and you could only grow up to 1,000 pounds, which is, hey, if you're growing 1,000 pounds, so like for 40 each, that's like $5 million. That's slight work.
Cool. Cool.
Right. So And we're going to try to get a license. We're hoping to get. We already have the framework for it, and I've opened up 3 dispensaries in Maryland, 3 successful dispensaries. So, and we have a doctor, so we're still medical, and whether it's rec or not, we'll be providing medical information if whoever wants it. And then we want to sell home grow products out of our shop right here. So people looking to get into a home grow, we'll have a indoor grow manual for people to follow, like just real easy from germination to flowering, and then to drying and curing, and then to so.
We out here.
Yeah, and then anybody who wants to create a cannabis business, we'll offer business consulting. I mean we want to build up, especially within the minority communities. This is $1 billion industry that's untapped.
Right.
It's the green rush. It literally is for Maryland right now. It's the green rush. Medical was so restrictive, but there's a lot of licenses to be had, and but you gotta be really invested in the cannabis, and that's kind of what we saw in the medical industry. There was people just trying to get money, and I understand that, but I feel like if having that attitude makes it more of a commodity, makes it more of what's the word? Attack keeps it in its taboo phase rather than treating it as a medicine, and that's where. In terms of like a recreation dispensaries, I don't think there should. I think it should all be medical. It should be regulated. I think, people should have medicinal knowledge of this product. Also have knowledge of pharmaceutical interactions with cannabis. So like if you're taking biodiazepines or, like anti-inflammation or blood thinning stuff, like there could be issues. So that's a big thing. Medication interactions, diet, having a solid diet to get better too, right? So it's like cannabis is going to help you, but you also have to do other healthy things and especially for minorities, Black folk, they kill us in the hospital. That their form of health system isn't for us, and so what we need to get back to what was for us was holistic and herbal medicine. That's our ancestors was all on that. So cannabis is a good start. And then there's stuff like moringa, there's stuff like cachava, there's, as a community, we need to
The gateway
heal our bodies.
back to our roots.
Right.
Literally, that's what it is.
Right.
It's the easiest way. Everybody want to get high, So once you start giving them, the knowledge behind that, then we can start getting into, our eating habits, like you said, our diet, stuff like that, 'Cause that's another thing, man. That's what's important, dog. Like,
Yeah.
we were dropping like 5s, man. Just try to make it as hard as possible to avoid that.
Decalcify that pineal gland.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. And now, a lot of smokers rather go recreational because when they hear medical, either they're scared of it or there's this unspoken thing like medical.
All right.
I'd rather go get. Can you break that down for us a little bit?
All right. So this is funny you say that because I was literally thinking about this the other day. Like, so I commute back and forth to my crib, so I just do a lot of just thinking. I'm high too, so so. I was just thinking, of different ways to explain to people, like why we, on one hand, we are for recreation, like we spoke about, getting our peoples out of jail, On the other hand, with medical, like I said, we don't pay the taxes. On top of that, you know exactly what you're smoking. You know exactly what you intake. You know what I'm saying? So put it like this. I'd rather go into a store, show my ID, see this packaging that has not been opened, as opposed to homie popping up on me and taking that sack out his draw.
Right.
That's exactly
right.
I'm him. I used to be him.
Right.
So I'm telling you. So there's that part. There's everybody's scary now, because of, you got the C word and, all these other things going on. So let's just make it as simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it right there. And you're not paying taxes, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Money is not growing on trees.
If you're
Inflation is a real word.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's the number one thing. We'll always come back. Fuck everything else that I said. Like all the health benefits. Keep your pockets healthy. You feel me? Like
exactly, man. And that goes back to staying healthy, man. The more money I got in my pocket, the easier it is for me to stay healthy and get the stuff I need.
Right.
Vegetables are high. Like,
or invest in your own vegetable farm, or look for a plot of land. You know, there's so many things as a community that we could pour our money into rather than, you know, a lot of the stuff that we're pouring our money into. You know what I'm saying? It's like we need, especially for Baltimore, you know, because the leaders have failed us for the past how many?
See, I'm 35.
You know, and unfortunately, and you got a lot of that, you know, the math proficiency stuff. Oh man, that's heartbreaking to hear, and all the stuff that happened in COVID, where kids were getting passed and still on you know, they were graduating still on a second grade reading level. You know what that does to a city, a community, for people to be illiterate, like and your young people too. So now we got to wait for a whole other generation, like my kids. Like we got to wait for them and it's a shame because only a few schools are doing well. You know, and all the money that Baltimore gets, you know, they still haven't allocated, I think, the 800 some million that they got in relief for like schools, like whatever. But but that's coming back. It was like you know, it should be clear to us that nobody's going to help us except for us, and so that's what this industry allows us to do. Is just you want to start a business, get into cannabis, and you need help, come to us because we'll help. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, for the recreational bud, hopefully they keep the same standards for the medical, because that's great. I mean, Maryland does have like the cleanest bud, and there can be no levels of heavy metals and all that stuff. So that's one of the biggest things. And there's strict water levels and humidity levels and stuff like that. So yeah, like it all depends on the regulations and how you know, clean the bud is and stuff like that. You know, mind you, that a lot of industries cut corners too, so it's, you know, there is no standardization on the labs that test it either. So there's like different labs. There's like Steep Hill. There's maybe something called Atlantic or something like that tests these buds, but they're not really working off a standard process. They're like kind of just doing it on their own. So that's kind of what needs to be fixed. Needs to be standardized to really be sure about, to be 100, you know, close to 198% sure what you're smoking is clean. You know, I feel like we're more at a 88, but that's way better than the black market, because you got no idea. You know what I mean? So
okay.
Yeah.
And now, if you could give me in 1 second, one at a time, what to you is your ultimate goal? The weed and the from the medicinal side of it. What would be your ultimate goal to give to somebody?
Money, no. That's funny, man. For me, man, I'm not gonna stunt, man. Obviously, you want to make that bread, you know. But you also, it's fun, man. Educating people, giving people knowledge on this, you know, and seeing people, like, cause we work at a farmer's market, you know, on the weekends, and
which one?
Saturday we do Fells Point from 8 to 12:30 every Saturday, man. Check us out. But to see the people that come, you know, maybe starting the summertime, and now, you know, we starting to see them in the wintertime, and they'll start talking to us about, hey, I tried this, blah, 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 blah. I look this, you know, that's rewarding. And I think that's the ultimate thing, man. You know, it's probably those two things, man, money and educate.
Same thing, but I would just say just understanding cannabinoids and terpenes, understanding what works for you. You know, start smoking or eating or consuming product that is specific to your relief, because there's a lot of stuff out here that people are smoking that's increasing their paranoia, increasing their anxiety, increasing PTSD, increasing nausea, and take a THC break. Like I said earlier, we're throwing off our equilibrium if all we're using is THC, because that's a receptor downregulator. But when you use CBD, it's a receptor upregulator. So, and THC is over time. Now, I can't say when that'll happen for any of us. It's just over time. And you'll start to understand, like, where people's like, oh, I'm smoking too much, I'm doing something's this, something's that, I got a tummy ache. Like, cannabis hyperemesis syndrome is because is an overconsumption of cannabinoids, that too many cannabinoids are being ingested before the liver can digest it. So it starts to give nausea and stomach aches. So yeah, just, if you're a smoker, switch it up. Use a low dose edible to get you through a couple of hours where you can save your lungs and your
Smoke
esophagus.
with a purpose,
yeah. Just switch it up and then use CBD. This is a CBD joint. CBD, like I said, is a receptor upregulator. It increases or regulates adenosine, serotonin, and dopamine receptors that regulate addiction mechanisms, your diet, eating habits, sleeping habits, and it's non-intoxicating. So, 100 milligrams a day. I tell people just to start. There was like a new paper that came out that people should be taking at least 300 to 400 milligrams for it to be beneficial, like that day. But with CBD, it should be just looked at as a vitamin. You take it, 100 milligrams a day.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen is your immune system will get stronger. You won't have as much inflammation. You'll have, you're especially being active and getting into my 30s. Like, I need something that's an active anti-inflammation agent. So that's one of the biggest things too. So it just keeps your mind right. And then if you take a cannabis break for 2 days, all your cannabis receptors come back, and so that your tolerance will go down. And using CBD in unison with THC, you'll keep your tolerance at bay. Your tolerance won't get high, so you won't be spending as much money trying to catch a high. It's just kind of just leveling things out.
Mm-hmm.
So it just saves money. And get off that what's it called? The Fronta leaf. Get off of that, man. That's like mixing gravy with your vegetables. If you want to mix something, mix it with the CBD. That has way more flavor. And don't tell me, I like the kick. It's not. It's because you're a fiend to tobacco.
You said it, y'all hear it.
Get up off that. That's not. We're off that. Smoke the herb, man.
Yeah.
I like that. I definitely learned something. Y'all definitely
just wrapping y'all up as usual.
Rap stars.
Right, we having people coming to the market wrapping them up.
Yeah.
But we're I can't find the word.
You can take in everything we said, man. It's all beneficial knowledge, man. Everything is beneficial.
If you could tell somebody, some advice that was told to you and help you, what would you tell them?
It's a lot to advise. What's the most profound? 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. I tell them every day.
I like that.
You feel me? Yeah. Because you can't, if you didn't do that, you think to yourself, I didn't prepare properly. You can't, the only person you can be mad at is yourself. And I feel like, when we fall short on something, it's because maybe we didn't give it our all. But you really know, if you fall short of something and you did give it your all, you're not all that blown because you're like, hey, I really, really went into it. Like trying. But yeah, proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Man, I really appreciate y'all. Is there any shout outs, any last words you want to say?
Shout out La Boca, man.
Yeah, shout out La Boca. Yeah, it was smooth tequila. I like it. Yeah. Shout out everybody in Baltimore on their grind, just trying to get, just trying to come up. It's tough times. just keep at it. Secure funds. If you need a job, go get that job. A lot of people are hiring. Don't be prideful. If you feel like you can make some extra money, you got some extra time, educate. Learn, keep learning. Enjoy life. Try to. It's tough.
Stop hating.
Stop hating. Hate free. Get the hate up out your souls. For real.
Man.
Yeah. Especially not for all us.
Yeah,
you know what I
man.
mean? Like,
Take
it somewhere else.
Putting us down.
Yeah. We're not each other's oppressors.
Yeah.
We got.
Reach one, teach one.
Yeah. Black History Month, man. Why we only get a month?
All right.
So,
But
let everybody know. Come shop.
Yeah.
Where you can find you guys at. I know you have the website going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're in Federal Hill, Baltimore, 912 Light Street. We're right next to a barbershop that says barbershop. In front of Be More Licks, Federal Hill.
They got the sign out front too.
Yeah, they got the sign up front. Yep. Our Instagram is Canamo CANAMO _Bay. Shane said earlier we're at the Fells Point Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 to 12:30, and we got a lot of things coming. We got a coffee shop opening up soon in Mayfield, so definitely keep you guys posted. We'll probably do something out there, So.
We got Twitter today too.
Oh yeah, we got the Twitter because Twitter allows cannabis.
Canamo Bay LLC at Canamo Bay LLC. Check us out.
Dope. Yeah, I'm boosted about that. Yeah,
I'm excited.
It's a new day.
Check us out, man.
Y'all hear it. Y'all know they're everywhere. Check them out. They got everything you need. You really want to get in tune. Especially us guys, and females too. Everybody getting older. You gotta keep your body healthy. Know what you're smoking. Know what you're doing.
Yep.
Check them out. Black owned.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that way.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Hostile Sundays.
Hostile Sundays.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
We got
brother.
the boat on deck.
Yeah.
We got pre-flights. Y'all gonna know about them soon.
Mm-hmm.
Man, appreciate y'all once again.
Thank you, man.
Here. It's the best, best interview we've had in a minute. So
Dope.
really appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
You, man.
It's our first.
Appreciate you. Yeah, right.